few days ago, I participated in a post about gathering energy. Since I cannot express very good in English, so I try to do it in a video. The gathering of energy in terms of releasing power in, say, Tai Chi. In Tai Chi, we have one major power emitting. It's called Peng. That means inflation. Say when we practice our form in Tai Chi, we have the movements. In the movements, we can feel energy going through the body according to the arms and legs gestures in the form. That's for working on the alchemy. For martial art applications, we have to train quite differently. So in the movements, especially at the intermission, in between the movements, we have this process of gathering energy or contracting or condensing of the energy or consolidating the energy, or some people they might call it sinking of energy, but I do not like this word particularly because sinking implies something that go right down to the bottom, but in fact the gathering is in the very middle of the body. So when we are doing a movement, we have the contraction. So energy consolidates and it inflates. Inflating, it's Peng. But during this inflating process, because we have joints, the joints twist, not only the arms and the legs, but we have joints all over. They all twist at different angles. So after the consolidation and in the inflation, the energy go in spirals to go out. So we have the coiling of the arms and the legs to give out this inflation force. So when we are doing, say for example, a punch in Tai Chi, we first consolidate the energy and then we give out through inflation and the rotation of the joints. Consolidate and inflate. So if I can do it slower and see if you can see the energy root spiraling to go out. Coils. So this is a punch in Tai Chi involving the gathering and expansion. If I can put it in the context of Xing Yi. In the very basic punch, they call it, called Pi chop. It looks like it's straightforward, but actually it also works in circles. It goes something like this. Something like this. So this is the gathering of energy. And then it goes up. The expansion. It looks like it's pushing with the back leg. Look. Looks like, but it is something more than this. Actually, it's also expansion, inflation. Also, it's got other elements, but inflation is one of them. Or I'll try to do it without too much pushing at the back and just try to go for the expansion. Expansion. So gather and expand. Whoa. So this is something about the inflation. One of the jing, the power process in Tai Chi. Of course, with gathering, it can be power as well. So we have the sudden contraction of the energy. So in the inflation, coupled with the horizontal rotation of the body, and indeed the rotation of all the joints, it can be very complicated, and there can be issue of power in many ways. But the basic concept is in the inflation. But in order to inflate, we must gather before the inflation. And of course, there are other ways of emitting power. This is only one of them.